Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Marcia Cedardahl, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. Whether it's your first time or your 10th hundred, I haven't had enough coffee. Anyway, I want to offer a special welcome to those of you who are visiting us for the first time, and I have a few announcements to share as our church community extends beyond Sunday morning worship. The first one is that once a month on the fourth Friday, the LGBTQA Welcoming Committee sponsors a coffee house game in the gallery. Join us this Friday, August 23rd at 7 for this fun for all ages gathering. The second one is next Sunday, August 25th, will be the start of our church year with the water communion service. It will be at 10 a.m., led by our new interim minister, Reverend A.J. Galazin. And lastly, Harry Hafer is taking pictures in the middle school room after the service today. If you haven't had that done yet, it's a great way to know who people are, and it's going to be in Realm. So please go have your picture taken if you haven't yet. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm hoping this mic works. Yes. Okay. So our reading today for the chalice lighting was written by Julie Brock. It's titled "The Best Age Yet." Every year on her birthday, my mother joyously proclaims that the age she is now is the best one yet. This November, she threw up her arms in the air with feigned relief and said, "Thank goodness I am no longer 61. 62 is the very best age yet." And I can already feel it. No offense to you kids, but being young is hard. My mother's joy is contagious, and I think I may have caught a chronic case of it. Indeed, I also feel that each year is the best one. Not so much because a particular age falls onto some good or bad spot on the arc of time, but because each age I become is the age during which I get to be alive. Each new year is another year to live this life in this body, on this earth, with these people, and for this I celebrate. And my mother is right. Being young is not easy. We are transitory, growing, uncertain, searching. We are also open, bold, and unyielding. We are able to live this way because we have each other. We look to the future with the knowledge that for the first time in generations, we have less financial and material security than our parents. We look to the future and see a world grown ever more divided, economically, politically, and socially. We look to the future and we celebrate. I am grateful for this difficult, challenging, hectic, scary, and uncertain time. This is a holy time, because in it I learn to rely on community. I sustain my joy by reaching out to that community during the hard times. My mother is a wise woman. Being young isn't easy. But for me, it is bathed in the love of a community that continually celebrates life with joy. We light this chalice bathed in the love of a community. Please rise in body or in spirit and join me in singing hymn 347, Gather the Spirit.
young or young at heart would like to come forward for the story, you can do so now. Our story today is called The Brand New Kid by Ellie McSnelly and Carrie O'Toole. They're running, they're laughing. Their first day of school was today, and they wondered just what was in store. Would this be a good year, or would school be a bore? They kept fingers crossed they'd be in the same class. And on a big table that they had to pass, they checked to find out to which room they should go. McSnelly, 240, and O'Toole, I don't know. Oh, here it is, dear. You're 240 as well. They squealed with delight. Oh, gee, this is swell. 240 meant they would both have Miss Kincaid, the best teacher by far in the whole second grade. They took their seats quickly. Miss Kincaid called the roll. Emily Allen, here. Tyler Antol, here. Peter Barzinski. Rachel Brooks are here too. She went down the list until she was all through. And then she got to the boy who was not in her book. We have a new student. And they all took a look. His name is a different one, Laszlo S. Gasky. He's new to our school and the town of Delaski. Please welcome him here. Won't you all please say hi? But the students just turned and stared at the new guy. His hair was so blonde, why it almost looked white. It stuck out all over it, didn't look right. His lips were bright pink, his eyes very blue. He looked at his feet, and he fidgeted too. He was quiet at first, and then yelled out, "Hello?" His voice booming so loud it made Ellie say, "Whoa." The other kids laughed. Gee, this new boy was weird. Too different and strange to fit in, they all feared. Now, class, Miss Kincaid said, her voice shrill and tight, let's focus on learning and getting things right. She turned from the students, white chalk was her tool, and she wrote, welcome back to Brookhaven School. They sharpened their pencils and picked up their books. All morning long, they kept shooting him looks. They headed to gym class, a quick softball game, and when they went to pick teams, no one mentioned his name. At lunch, Ricky Jensen, who thought he was cool, made everyone laugh when he shouted, "Hey, fool!" As Laszlo was leaving the line with his tray, someone tripped him, and his food, it went every which way. The students all froze as they saw Laszlo's face, and French fries and ketchup all over the place. So these first weeks were lonely for this brand new kid. They made fun of him, all that he said and he did. So he kept his head bowed and stopped trying to please and simply prepared for the next taunt and tease. And one day after school, Ellie walked out the door and she saw someone she hadn't seen there before. A lady whose face looked so tired and worn, she had tears in her eyes and she seemed so forlorn. "Who's that?" Ellie asked of a student she saw. "Oh, that's Laszlo's mother," said Susie McGraw. "Her son's having trouble. She might pull him out. The school may be wrong for him. She's full of doubt." Ellie watched Mrs. Gasky as she walked toward her car. She thought about how things were going so far, about Laszlo and how he felt different and strange, and wondered aloud just what she could arrange. "Oh, I've got it," she said. "I'll ask him to play at my house or his after school ends one day." The next morning, she walked up to him at his locker. "Would you like to come over to my place and play soccer?" Stunned, he said, "Please come to my house and play." So Ellie said, "Sure, I can. Let's pick a day." "How about Thursday?" he said with a smile, a look that hadn't been on his face for a while. They walked home from school with their books in their arms, passing meadows and fields and a couple of farms. They arrived at his door, greeted by his French poodle, and Mrs. Gasky was there with a plate of warm strudel. As they munched on the pastry, they made quite a mess, and Laszlo said, "Do you know how to play chess?" Elle said, "Yes, but I'm not all that great." "That's okay," he replied, and he soon said, "Checkmate." The afternoon ended. Ellie said, "This was fun," and Laszlo just smiled and said, "Hey, thanks a ton for coming to my house and being my friend at a school in town where I just don't fit in." At school the next day, the kids stopped her and said, "You were walking with Laszlo. Are you sick in the head?" Ellie paused and replied, "Now, I know him, you see, and Laszlo isn't that different from you and from me. He's terrific at chess and his mom's really sweet. Playing soccer, the guy doesn't have 2 left feet. He may look slightly strange, have an accent and stuff, but if you knew him, you'd like him. It wouldn't be that tough." Carrie looked at her friend, and she thought for a while. And when Laszlo walked up, she gave him a big smile. "Hey, Ellie, hey, Laszlo, do you want to go play?" And they all walked outside on a beautiful day. And that is the end of the story. Although, we're not quite ready to dismiss you just yet, because we have something else we'd like to share today. Our backpack blessing today is adapted with permission from the Southwest Loretta Group, which stands for Liberal Religious Educators Association, with special gratitude to Kathy Smith and Reverend Erica Hewitt for their words. This new church year and school year will hold a lot of exciting changes, one of which is our new interim minister joining us, Reverend AJ. And another is that we recently adopted our new Unitarian Universalist values, which we celebrate today, that include justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity, and love. If you brought a bag or a backpack today, will you please hold that? And if you did not bring it, you can imagine it in your mind. Or as Jean reminded us this morning, she said everyone has baggage, right?
We carry bags with us throughout the week for many reasons. Some of us take books and homework to school. Some of us bring our lunches to school or to work. Some of us take computers or other supplies to the places we work.
Some kids carry overnight bags from one parent's house to their other parent's house and back again. Some people bring things like books or yarn and knitting needles to places where they might need to wait patiently. And some people even have special bags for their dogs or other animals.
Even when you are away from the Unitarian Church of Lincoln, you carry the heart of Unitarian Universalism wherever you go. Today, we bless these bags that accompany us on our journey.
We bless this bag in the name of interdependence. May we always feel connected to our church community, feel connected to the UU faith, and connected to our grander universe.
We bless this bag in the name of pluralism. May we always remember to honor and respect people for who they are, even if they are different. And may we keep our minds open to new ideas.
We bless these bags in the name of justice. May we always remember to act based on our values, to look out for others, and to include all voices in decision making.
We bless this bag in the name of transformation. May we grow and transform throughout the year, becoming more of ourselves every day, and may we embrace new ideas and learning.
We bless this bag in the name of generosity. May we experience the generosity of both our community and remember to be generous with others.
We bless this bag in the name of equity. May we remember that we are all inherently worthy, and each of us, including ourselves, has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion.
We bless this bag in the name of love. May you always remember that you are loved. here at the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. And may you remember to love yourself and to love one another. May you keep love at the center of all that you do.
We have some charms for everyone, even if you forgot to bring your bag. These charms are to remind you of the support of this community. Transformation can be hard. When times are hard, hold this charm and remember that you can rely on this church and rely on our shared values. You bring our values with you wherever you go.
And now your bag may not look any different or feel any different, but the next time you use your bag, I hope you will remember that we've added our blessings.
And as you pack your bag with all the tools you need to do your daily work, think about the blessings and values that you bring with you from your church community. May it be so, and amen.
And now as our guest music plays, the children are dismissed to the in-gathering. And if you did not get a keychain but would like one, you're welcome to come grab one after service.
central part of our services is the time we join together as a community to mark the moments of our lives. We share with one another our joys, our sorrows, the events that mark the steps on our journey. The threads of sorrow and those of joy are intertwined in the fabric of our lives, present for all, remembered by all. We share those threads, and then they are woven together with those of others in our community. Our joys are shared and magnified. We are comforted in our sorrows. I invite you to type into the YouTube chat or speak into this shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in sorrow.
Jala.
Jawa,
Jala.
Ja-
Jallah.
Jala,
Madeline.
Madeline, Ezra,
Mark.
Mark, Doug,
Dr. Howells?
Dr. Howells,
Don Binkley.
Don Pinkley,
Kay.
Kay, I'm not, sorrow for Abby from Kay Hoff. I invite you to type into the chat or speak into this shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in joy.
Carter and Alyssa.
Carter and Alyssa.
Mrs. Barbara Brawley.
Mrs. Barbara Brawley,
She just turned 97 yesterday.
who just turned 97.
She doesn't walk with a cane. She doesn't wear glasses. She doesn't use a hearing aid. And she's going to be getting in her car in northern Michigan, Traverse City. She's going to be driving here September 10th by herself.
I'm going to wish her luck on her drive from Michigan at the age of 97.
Nick and Missy.
Nick and Misty?
Missy.
Missy.
Thank you. Time spent with Bill at Niobrara and Vermillion at the National Music Instrument Museum.
Okay, so time spent with Bill at Niobrara and Niobrara? Niobrara. I'm new to this. I've only lived in Nebraska for about 8 years. And what was the
Vermillion and the National Music Museum.
the National Music Museum?
You should
Sound-
ask him about it.
Please see Bill about the National Music Museum.
My joy is the A Street Band.
The A Street Band.
The lovely musicians that decided to play here today.
And joy for our guest musicians today.
Ari is having her first birthday this week.
Ari is having her first birthday this week.
The retreat we have this weekend at the church?
Okay, a church meeting is a joy, I guess.
All the kids and all the teachers who started last week.
Okay, all the kids and teachers who started school last week.
Grandkiddo's birthday today. He is 12.
Grandchild who is having his 12th birthday today.
The UNL dorm's opening up this week.
Is that a joy? The UNL dorms are opening this week. And I have here from Jamie Radcliffe, Joy Dom. And Marilyn Harker, a joy for Eric.
My 7th grade grandchild.
Your 7th grade grandchild? I don't know, that's it. Good luck.
Hummingbirds and the sunflowers.
Ooh, hummingbirds in the sunflowers.
Baby Waylon arrived only 2 days ago.
Baby Waylon arrived only 2 days late. So I'm just going to say, I think that was one of the first Sundays where our joys exceeded our sorrows. So that was good. That was good. I like that. That's good. We know, too, that there are some joys, some sorrows that are yet unspoken, but still deeply felt. Let us hold a moment of silence for everything unspoken.
Will you join me now in a time of prayer and meditation? And today's meditation is from Patrick Murphin. I do not have a personal relationship with God. I've lost his phone number. He never answers his mail. He is not there like an old neighbor to fix my lawnmower and hand me a soda on a blazing hot day. When I rip my shin on a jutting shelf and cry out his name, he does not rush to me with Band-Aids and peroxide. He does not, at times of vexation, when my world lies shattered, my relationships ruptured, my children insolent, my finances hopeless, come with soothing counsel to my side. He does not take my requests like a long-distance dedication on America's Top 40, or deliver within 5 business days or my money back. My business is not important to him. I do not have a personal relationship with God, but in quiet moments, in the familiar whistle of a red-winged blackbird on a cattail, or in spider webs glinting with dew in the grass of a clear sunrise, or in the passing attentions of an old cat. He, she, it, them, whatever, does not speak or do or answer. But they admit me to a fleeting union with something greater. May it be so, and amen.
Please join us in singing hymn 1002, Comfort Me. Our reading this morning was written by Parker Palmer, The Blizzard of the World. There was a time when farmers on the Great Plains at the first sign of a blizzard would run a rope from the back door out to the barn. They all knew stories of people who had wandered off and been frozen to death, having lost sight of home in a whiteout while still in their own backyards. Today we live in a blizzard of another sort. It swirls around us as economic injustice, ecological ruin, physical and spiritual violence, and their inevitable outcome, war. It swirls within us as fear and frenzy, greed and deceit, and indifference to the suffering of others. We all know stories of people who have wandered off into this madness and been separated from their own souls, losing their moral bearings and even their mortal lives. They make headlines because they take so many innocents down with them. The lost ones come from every walk of life: clergy and corporate executives, politicians and people on the street, celebrities and school children. Some of us fear that we, or those we love, will become lost in the storm. We are lost at this moment and are trying to find the way home. Some are lost without knowing it, and some are using the blizzard as cover while cynically exploiting its chaos for private gain. So it is easy to believe that the soul, that life-giving core of human self, with its hunger for truth and justice, love and forgiveness, has lost all power to guide our lives. But my own experience of the blizzard, which includes getting lost in it more often than I'd like to admit, tells me that it is not so. The soul's order can never be destroyed. It may be obscured by the whiteout. We may forget or deny that its guidance is close at hand, and yet we are still in the soul's backyard with chance after chance to regain our bearings. Each week we take up a collection to support the work of this church and our partners in the community. We do this because just as we all grow from our participation in this community, we all give back through our time, our talent, our treasure. As the song plays and as the song plays, the ushers will pass our offering plates. You can also give by texting UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. That's UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. The offering will now be gratefully accepted.
Good morning, Lincoln. Good morning. It is a joy to be here with you today. My name is Reverend A.J. Galazin. I'm your interim minister. My pronouns are he and his. And I'm also the new kid in town. Here's a reading from the Gospel according to the Eagles. There's talk on the street. It sounds so familiar. Great expectations. Everybody's watching you. People you meet, they all seem to know you. Even your old friends treat you like you're something new. Johnny come lately, the new kid in town. Everybody loves you, so don't let them down. Close quote and amen. Chelsea shared with us a lovely story this morning about the brand new kid. I found that wonderful children's book at a library in Ames, Iowa. It was staring at me from the shelf as I walked in, and it was love at first sight. Some of you probably have relationships with books. And the icing on the cake for me was the book was written by Katie Couric, one of my favorite optimistic commentators, and the only person I know that had her colonoscopy televised. Like Laszlo in the book, I tend to stick out a bit with my shiny cranium, my sparkling presence, and my thick Wisconsin accent. But like Laszlo, I have already met many strange characters in my new home in Nebraska who don't seem to mind that I'm a little different. Sometimes the brand new kid can be just the friend you need. I love road trips. I've traveled all across the country at all times of the year, but one trip I'll never forget was crossing Donner Pass on I-80 outside of Reno, Nevada, during a heavy snowstorm in the Sierras. The State Patrol was on duty and very helpful in keeping the road moving slowly in one lane until we safely came down the mountain into the lush green valleys of California. Even the truckers were being cautious. It was still harrowing. There were cars stuck in snowbanks, but it was an orderly chaos. I drove through another scarier blizzard somewhere in Iowa, near the Minnesota border. It was a thick, whiteout condition. The road was glare ice, and there were many cars down in the ditches. The difference was that very little, if any, intervention was made from the highway patrol. It was more like a free-for-all. And the big 18-wheelers were taking full advantage of their size and speed to splash an icy mix right onto passing cars, which made for a feeling of being buried alive. In times like that, even someone without a personal relationship with God might cry out for a way out of that mess. With nowhere to pull over or turn around, the only answer was to slow down and hope everyone else would do the same. This congregation is entering a liminal time, a time of transition, a time of new beginnings. a time to clarify boundaries, a time to cross a threshold, a time to ask questions. Where are we going? Are we there yet? Who is charting our course? Could we just pull over and rest for a while? I also like the term numinous time. Could you say that with me? Numinous time. Numinous implies a spiritual effort, a time of mystery, a time of inspiration, a time of change and disorientation, a time when time itself slows down, a time not to rush, but instead to honor the speed limit and enjoy the scenery. One interesting thing I noticed while living in Texas was that for most of the state, there really isn't any speed limit. People drive as fast as they want to cover the Texas-sized distances between everything, except in school zones. School zones are religiously observed in Texas. School zones have flashing lights, painted lines, crossing guards, and police patrols. And surprisingly, drivers who obey the law. In the past, churches were told to hurry up and hire a new minister before their previous minister had even departed, so that the new minister could hit the ground running and not miss a beat. Well, in the real world, it turns out it doesn't work that way. Each new minister brings a lifetime of gifts and challenges and baggage to the congregation, and it's not as easy as it sounds just to clear out the office one day and welcome the new pastor the next. From years of experience, churches have learned that this transitional time is a special opportunity to take stock of your situation and address any issues before searching for your next settled minister. So who's in charge here? Surprise, it ain't me. According to our liberal religious tradition, our revolutionary Unitarian Universalist congregational polity, we covenant, affirm, and promote, among other things, the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. This democratic process means that your elected board of trustees is entrusted and vested with making decisions that affect this church. A settled minister is called by the whole congregation and can be dismissed only by the whole congregation. I was hired by your board of trustees, and I answer to that board. Your board is responsible for the day-to-day operations and financial obligations. On your behalf, they hold this fiduciary authority. The board meets monthly. The meetings are open to everyone. And if you want to know what's really going on around here, you are invited to attend the meetings, read the minutes, or speak with a board member. Transparency is the best disinfectant. Are there any board members in the house? Would you please rise at this time? Any board members? Yay! Thank you. Board members are hardworking souls. Please thank them profusely and often. They just spent most of this past weekend visioning your future, soaring, looking at your strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and what's the R? Results. Okay, results. Now, there's one member of the board that I meet with every week, and that is your president, Judy Hart. The president has a special responsibility for helping set the agenda and work cooperatively with all the committees and the members. The president is also charged with guiding the congregation into living into its purpose and mission. Be especially kind to your president. She's got the whole world in her hands. Come on, one time. She's got the whole world in her hands. You know, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but still, please be kind to her. It's a big responsibility for one person, especially during times of transition and change. But the board and the president are not alone in this work. For the next 2 years, the board will appoint a transition team that will work closely with me to identify priorities, honor your traditions, strengthen relationships, and help prepare for the next ministry. Fine-tuning, if you will. And some tuning is more fine than others. We will install the transition team at a Sunday service in September. By conducting surveys, hosting listening sessions, the transition team will provide the board and search committee with information necessary to attract the best candidate. The transition team will advise the board on which short-term goals are most urgent, reasonable, and doable. I will meet with the transition team monthly, and no matter how much we try, no matter how much we accomplish, we will still not be able to do everything we want in the next 2 years. So to work on longer term 3 and 5 year goals and to provide a process for right relations and conflict resolution, as well as completing confidential and ongoing evaluations of the various ministries of the church, I will recommend that the board also study forming a standing committee on shared ministry. I believe a committee on shared ministry would serve an important need to efficiently use your resources and plan for future growth. Neither the transition team or the committee on shared ministry have any direct authority. They both serve at the pleasure of and are advisory to your elected board. You are not alone. We are not alone. For years, I commuted on a lonely highway in northern Wisconsin. Most of the time, it was just fine. But occasionally, the lake effect snow from Lake Superior was unpredictable. And I could get caught in a micro blizzard, the first and only person on the road, with no tire tracks to follow at night. My previous experience taught me there was a road underneath me somewhere. And when I centered myself to where I believed that road should be and took a leap of faith, I eventually made it home. Thank you, sweet spirit of life. Your transition may at times feel like a blizzard. Familiar surroundings seem strange. Things are moving too fast. Who really likes change? And meanwhile, the snow keeps falling. Because this is your church, I defer to your collective wisdom to make decisions. I don't necessarily experience the blizzard in the same way, because I'm not sure where anything is supposed to be. I'm not here to be a bulldozer. It's not my job to tear things down or build things up. I'm more of a leaf blower. Yes, sometimes I can be loud and intrusive. But my real job is to help uncover what's beneath the surface and to help clear the gutters if they get plugged. I can also be a tether that gently guides you back to a safe place if you lose your way during the storm. I have faith in your ability to make this journey. I've been here before. I know there's a road somewhere. I will walk beside you, but I cannot do the work for you. In the words of Parker Palmer, we may forget or deny that guidance is close at hand. And yet we are still in the soul's backyard with chance after chance to regain our bearings, close quote. May it be so, and amen. Will you rise now in body or spirit for our closing hymn, Where is Our Holy Church? Peg Pelter has a special announcement this morning.
Do you guys remember the story of the shoemaker's elves? Yeah. Well, the shoemaker's elves showed up in the dark of the night and helped the shoemaker, and he kept his shop, and it was a good story. We have some really shoemaker elves among us, and they do all sorts of things for our church. But their last mission was to stripe the parking lot. Could you give me a round of applause for Karen and Harry Heeper?
I hope this doesn't mean they're going to leave.
Wonderful. Our closing words are from Reverend Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Go now in peace. please don't forget your water next Sunday, the water communion.